Post-millennial. Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. No, guys. They put Maryland men in quotes. Said to have been a gang member in 2018 court documents. Quote, she is dating a gang member. I think we have the images here. Jenny Taylor says, the New York Post has obtained court docs from 2018 showing Kilmar Abrego Garcia was being accused of gang membership by his wife's ex, and the father of her 2 kids. So let's pull up this document right here, which actually it's harder to read now. It says, motion and affidavit for, and then it's stamped over, filed. It says, 1, the undersigned party is acting to safeguard the children who are now in the physical custody of Jennifer Vasquez, Surratt says. It says the children are in serious danger because she tried, I'm going to read it verbatim, okay? She tried to kill herself and she left the kids with 11 year to take care of then. And I'm afraid of my kids live are in the danger because she is dating a gang member. I know these facts are true to be true because I was there and the police was there too. I have made the following attempts to notify Jennifer Vasquez Surratt. Her response was, the court can't give you that custody of the kids because I have no idea what that says. Therapist told me. Is it meant to be therapist?
Therapist. Yeah.
I don't know. There's no H there. So
sounds like I wrote this.
And well, there you go. So fascinating that this just keeps getting worse and worse for Democrats, that more and more evidence keeps emerging that this man is a gang member, and they kept defending him. They're going to keep defending him. And what I absolutely love, as I mentioned this the other day, but on the David Pakman subreddit, they were angry at conservatives saying something like, conservatives genuinely believe that Abrego Garcia is some gang member trafficking people and not just a family man who escaped El Salvador to be with his, to protect his family. And it's like, why do you believe that? Why do the liberals believe that narrative? Because there's no evidence that's true. The only evidence we have is he's been stopped multiple times, accused of trafficking, accused of being in a gang numerous times, adjudicated as being a gang member. He's not from here. The media lied about him being a Maryland man, and they still believe this stuff.
They never would have known that the media lied because they never would have looked into it any deeper than the headline.
How long until they redefine what a gang member is? And they say a gang is like a festival of friendship.
Yeah, gang just means 3 people hanging out.
Yeah.
So he's a member of a friend group? I have a friend group. I'm a gang member now.
I don't think we're far from that.
I agree.
I saw West Side Story. Those are practically jolly.
They're out there snapping and dancing.
That's all it is.
Well, the definition of gang is an organized group of criminals.
Yeah, but who's to say what a criminal is?
Yeah.
I didn't think the gang were a bunch
We're all
of
criminals
back in the day.
I jaywalked earlier today.
Everybody,
right?
everyone breaks like 2 or 3 felonies a day, whether you realize it or not. So who's to say what's actually worse than another?
I don't.
We should all just have compassion.
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier, the toxic empathy and toxic compassion from Americans who really do. I think a lot of it is just the average everyday person doesn't want to seem like they're not, sympathetic to other people.
The reason why I don't believe it is because I have friends who are liberals and they post psychotic nonsense. And so I send them messages saying, hey, hope this helps. And they don't care. So it's not an issue of trying to empathize with someone, because if Kilmar Abrego Garcia is the bad guy, and there are, or how about we do this? The guy, the dude in the Wisconsin case, he's the bad guy. He mercilessly beat a man. I believe it was a man. There were women there as witnesses. I'm not sure if they were the victims, but let's just say he mercilessly beat someone. And Fox News said he punched him, struck him in the face like 40 times, and then strangled them. It is not empathy to let the bad guy escape. Is that a bee or a fly?
I don't know, but it's
moving pretty fast for a bee. It's a fly.
Maybe. There's a bee that lives in here. It's probably dead by now, but it's just exploring for some reason. I got no beef with honeybees. They're all right. But anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. They don't empathize. They simply seek to be a part of the cult.
Yeah.
So they will let villains escape so long as it's what the cult wants them to do.
I guess I see it more as like there's layers to this type of interaction, which is like you have the journalists who write the biased story. You have the influencers and the politically initiated who parrot the story. And then you have the average everyday person who only reads the headline, and their empathy says, well, why would he deport a guy from Maryland? And then they never look any farther into it. And those people vote too.
Yep.
That's my problem with it.
And they answer polls.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, I don't think anybody answers polls. I think it's fake.
It's
like the pollsters are sitting there and you're like, let's just say Trump's doing well.
It's like the people saying
When's
like
the last time you got a poll?
the Nielsen ratings. I'm like, is that
To
a real
be
thing?
fair, I get requests from civics all the time.
Oh.
Yeah. Civics will email me like nonstop. And I do them sometimes.
I think 2003 was the last time I got any kind of phone call or anything like that. Maybe I just have a lot go to spam.
You know why I don't answer now when I get the phone calls though, is because when I do, the only thing I hear is it goes like shh, and then I hang up. I'm not kidding. Have you guys gotten those phone calls?
You know what my tell is when they say Timothy.
Oh yeah. No, but you know those phone calls that people have been getting where you answer it and it's just like a person speak. It's an automated Chinese phone call.
I have not.
I have not gotten.
You've never seen those?
No.
Yeah, big story. I was Chinese robocalls. So I just stopped answering my phone.
I only get American robocalls. American made. No, you know, what's interesting here about these cult members, by the way, you see who goes to these Democrat rallies now. You see who's like lapping up the Bernie and the Tim Walz.
Real quick, sorry guys, look at this. This is from 2 weeks ago. North Carolina's Chinese Americans of robocalls posing as officials. It's been going on for some time. This is 2 weeks ago. The DOJ's warning about this. This is Trump admin.
I like the idea that we're going to get like Chinese Americans to start recording these calls now that we're bringing manufacturing back home.
We need Chinese robot. What were you saying?
Oh yeah. So you take a look at the people who go to these the Tim Walz events and the Bernie events. You talk these cult members. They're old hippies, right? And they're trying to relive their childhood. They're trying to be a part of something. When we've had it too good in this country for too long, and I know things are bad, but we haven't had a civil war. We haven't had some sort of major action in a long time, and they want to feel like they're a part of something. So it's much easier to get them into this cult because they feel like they're affecting change by getting out there and screaming about Trump.
And they've got, I'm sure, a little bit of guilt from how successful they are without... have you ever seen that picture that was going viral like around the time of the election? It was like the husband and the wife. They're out to this really nice dinner and they have their champagne glasses and they're like, these two boomers are voting for Kamala Harris this election. And the top response is like, great, one more F you on the way out before they... like, that's what I think.
Did you see the poll for boomers in Canada? In Canada, they asked the different generations what their biggest concerns were in the election. And Gen Z said the cost of housing, the cost of food, good jobs. And the boomers said Trump. In Canada, the boomers were like, we're voting for the liberals because we hate Trump. And Gen Z was like, we need food.
And Social Security and like Medicare and stuff like that they will benefit from, but the kids will not. Whatever it is in Canada.
I'm saying this is... January, a bunch of articles came out about this demographic cliff because this is the beginning. 2007 is when people stopped having kids. Like the numbers tanked.
Look, all those kids were at the Minecraft movie. We'll be fine.
Dude. And the other thing I'm hearing too is that of the Gen Zers who are like around 18, 19 who do work, they have anxiety disorder. Yeah. They don't answer their phones. They're terrified. They're socially awkward.
Did you see the stories about kids bringing their parents to job interviews?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's a thing.
That's a thing.
They were bringing their parents to their job interviews.
How could you expect to actually get hired?
Some of my favorite people to watch on TikTok, if I'm watching it,
26% of Gen Zers brought a parent to a job interview?
Watch some of these TikTokers that are like hiring managers who have TikTok accounts that have huge followings because it's just them talking about the insane stuff that Gen Z is doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how you, as an employer, would say yes.
You just play along with that and let them go. I mean, I couldn't. You don't want to deal with somebody's family.
You think pronouns are bad? Come on.
I would probably be as mean as I could be, but in a way that wasn't too direct. You know, like if someone applied for a job and they showed up and their parent was there, I would not do something like, you are pathetic, what a loser. I'd probably bust out laughing and then ask them where the camera was.
Berate their parent. You think this is okay? This is you teaching your child how to be independent and be an adult? You helping coming to the interview? You should be ashamed of yourself.
How do you handle that? Like, can you tell me what's really good about your son, sir? Like, what are his best qualities? Does he clean his room?
Are you both?
Well, we already know what your greatest weakness is. Let's move on from that question. I don't need to ask.
Are you both going to show up? Do I have to provide a desk for both of you? You know,
I mean, like if you just
you know what you do when they show up with their parent? You walk up and shake the parent's hand and then ask the kid to wait in the car.
Go in the car, son.
Yeah, be like, thank you for coming. I'd love to hear what you can bring to this job. Oh no, I'm the parent. Sure. You kid, hey, wait in the car. We're going to talk about this job they're going to get.
Going outside, your daddy's going to talk to the.
Wow, how old are you? I'm 47. Really? And what do you do for a living? I'm a lawyer. You're hired. I mean, it's a low-paying entry-level job, but thanks for coming for the interview.
No, they don't do that anymore.
No, it's my son who's coming for the interview. What?
There is too qualified. So the 47-year-old lawyer going in for the job mopping up at the grocery store is not going to get the job. He's overqualified.
I'd hire him. I'd say, you, sir, are hired. But it's my son who's here for the job.
We don't want it.
This wasn't even for like entry-level jobs. These were for like jobs for people with degrees out of college, and they're bringing their parents to the job.
So Gen Z is developmentally disabled, and Gen Alpha doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Gen Alpha is projected to be between 40 and 48 million, down from Gen X is like mid-60s, Boomers are like mid-60s, Millennials are like 72, and Gen Z, I think, is like 69 million. Gen Alpha is supposed to be around 40 to 48 because millennials stopped having kids. Yeah. And then you've got Gen Z, developmentally disabled. And then you've got Gen Alpha, who just doesn't exist.
There's also a deep sense of nihilism amongst Gen Z where they just don't see a future for this country, and they don't really, it's like quitters never lose. So why bother trying if the game has been rigged against you? And that's kind of my argument.
Never lose.
But that's kind of my argument. Like, if you can say all you want that AOC can't win an election, whether it has to do with her voice or whatever it is, but when things get bad enough and somebody starts waving in front of you a catch-all solution that is the government, you have to be worried about something like that. Even somebody with a mediocre presentation can win if the population is desperate enough and the solution they're offering is all-encompassing, even if we know that that's a lie.
Yeah, and I don't think that Gen Z and younger will know it's a lie, because this generation's going to, this generation sees cars that drive for you, right? That's normal now. Like, not every car does, but it's normal to be like, oh yeah, my Tesla can drive for me. They're going to be the first generation that sees a significant amount of, actual humanoid robots walking around. 5 years, there are going to be a lot of humanoid robots walking around society doing things that used to be done by people. Within 5 years, it's going to be normal enough where people are like, oh, and the impression that they get is we don't have to work anymore.
It turns into Wall-E.
Exactly.
That's literally, yeah.
And then
exactly what because they're already talking about it. You hear people talking about that on Reddit, saying, "Oh, the super abundance is coming when the singularity comes, etc." They all have the notion that there's no point in trying, because in just a few years, just a handful of years, everything's going to be automated, and you're not going to have to do any work.
Yeah, and then they'll just introduce the UBI.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.